The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 20. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of successful women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Subscribe to our newsletter by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. My name is Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have an amazing woman here who's going to share her story about her inner journey to self-confidence. She's a stay-at-home mompreneur. She's from Texas, and she has 3 lovely boys, and her name is Joanne, right?
Joan,
sorry.
No, it's okay.
My apologies, Joan. And we've met online. I haven't met her in person yet, but I know we'll meet each other soon. And maybe, Joanne, you can fill in to our listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. It's funny that you say Joanne because my dad, he named me Joan, but throughout his whole life, he had called me Joanne. But it's funny because he named me Joan after Joan of Arc. So anyways, I am a mompreneur of 3 boys. I am also a military wife. My husband had just gotten back from deployment. And let's see what else. That's pretty much it. The boys, and I have an online business and I homeschool as well. So that all of that keeps me extremely busy and like to stay empowered throughout the whole thing too. So that's basically, my life in a nutshell.
Awesome. I should have known better too, because my sister's second name is Joan, and it's the same spelling, and I don't know why I said Joanne, so I do apologize for that.
It's all good. No problem. It's sometimes it's a sign to me because, one of my turning points in my life was when my father had passed away, and whenever someone, says Joanne, it reminds me of my dad calling my name. So it's really cool. It's funny when people say it. So I always smile and I always think that's a sign, that he's present here.
I love that. I love how you turn it into something positive. So Joan, can you tell the listeners what's your cultural background?
Sure. Both my parents are Filipino, so I'm full Filipino, but I was born here in America. They came here into the United States, I want to say 1977. My dad was in the Navy, and he was able to petition my mom and his parents and my mom's parents to the United States. And so from the Philippines, he was stationed with the Navy in Pensacola, and then a few years later, they moved to San Diego in 1981, and that's where I was born, in San Diego. But I still consider myself Filipino, even though I was born here in America.
Awesome. That's nice. Have you ever been to the Philippines yet?
Yes, I have. I was just there this past June, and it was for a funeral, but I was able to go and visit my parents' province, and it was my grandfather's funeral, and I was able to go to his province and just live the provincial life where, there's not a lot of technology and there's not a lot of, drama. There's just people are so happy with what they have. People make the best of what they have over there. So it's great to see that, and it's great to go back to the Philippines and to just, embrace the culture.
Yeah, the Philippines is a great country. I mean, I was born there, so I'm, for me, it's my homeland.
Weren't you just there also this past summer?
Yeah, I was there in May for a cousin's wedding. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
What's your favorite self-confidence quote?
This came along probably in middle school for me, this quote, because I think you probably have the same story where, you're kind of the only Asian girl in school. A lot of people looked at you funny, or, if you went to school here, you didn't have the blonde hair, the blue eyes. And so my self-confidence going into elementary school and middle school I wasn't very self-confident. But then when I heard this quote, it's from the Bible, it's from Matthew 5:14, and it says, "You are the light of the world, and you should be able," and later on in the verse it says, "Let your light shine." And so when I heard that, I kind of it boosted my self-confidence, because it was true. I am a light, and I should be able to show that light to other people. So every time I feel down or second guess myself, I always think of that quote, because it encouraged me to shed my light And I believe that's my self-confidence.
I love that. Not too many women realize that that light is inside of them, and they just have to learn how to make that light shine, make that light come out, and show the world that, they were born with that light inside them, that power inside them. And
exactly.
I think sometimes we forget too. I mean, with society and the things that are all around us, it just, life gets in the way and we forget that as women, we're very powerful beings. I mean, we're so powerful, sometimes we don't even know it. So I really love that quote you shared. Joan, what would be your definition of self-confidence?
I think my definition of self-confidence would be, geez, Tina, that's a hard question. I know that was in the little bio thing, but I think my definition would be just going back to being that light and to knowing that you have that light inside you and to be able to, fearless with the divine that's in you and the divinity that you have within you to go out and achieve your goals because once I think it starts from inside. I think once you are at peace with what you are within, then that confidence, that self-confidence will automatically manifest within you. And then it will, it's like an unstoppable energy that it just flows right out of you without any effort. And so that's what I believe that self-confidence is.
Lovely. I love that too. It's true. Sometimes I think when you do have when we have that self-confidence, it's just natural. It has just like this easy flow that just comes out of you, and you feel invincible. You feel unstoppable. You feel empowered. So I love that. I love that definition. Before your discovery of self-confidence, what was your life like?
Like I said, I think it was like when I started going to school in elementary school and in middle school. I was probably like the only Asian girl or Asian at all in my schools. And it wasn't too long where you start to notice that, okay, I don't have blonde or brown hair and I don't have the sparkling blue eyes and my skin tone, is different from everybody else. A lot of people call me chink and just treat me differently and look at me differently. And, they ask, why I did this and why I did that. And I was very insecure before I found what self-confidence was, because and also like in the media, you wouldn't see a sitcom on TV where there's like an Asian family, or you don't look at the front cover of magazines and there's not an Asian girl on there. So you quickly see that you're definitely different. And so I used to let, whenever people would call me chink or something, it would definitely like hit me hard. I would take it personally. So before I found out, what self-confidence was, I was really young, and it was just not a good place where I felt very insecure about myself because I didn't look like everybody else.
It's quite a challenge when you're like the new kid in school, and especially if you look different.
Yeah.
I know how it feels like. I mean, when I first migrated to Canada, it wasn't as bad as yours because in Canada we're pretty multicultural. Toronto's a very multicultural city, but still, people look at you funny. And it's funny as you grow older, I'm talking to my friends and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm not Asian, and then I look in the mirrors like, whoa. You forget who you are sometimes, right? So and back then, like, Asian influence in American culture or Canadian culture was not, as prominent as, even now it's still not as prominent. It's slowly coming out. We have shows like Fresh Off the Boat, which I love. I just love supporting Asian shows that are in like this American influence. So yeah, back then I know it was quite a challenge for sure, right? When you'd bring, if I bring like noodles to school, to be like, what is that, right? What is that?
I remember I'd always like second guess myself too, like, oh, should I be wearing this? Or, look at what other people are doing, and I would kind of copy what the other girls were doing. Or, if there was something popular and I wasn't doing it, I would always second guess myself and be like, hey, maybe I should start doing that too, or maybe I should start wearing makeup too, or this kind of t-shirts or this kind of skirts. And I would always I remember just always looking to what was popular and following that crowd when I felt really insecure about myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of girls used to do that too as kids, right? I mean, I would have loved to do that, but my dad was so cheap back then. It was impossible. So, what was like your aha moment when you realized, you were worthy of who you are? You didn't have to change. You didn't have to be somebody else. You were okay with just who you are.
I go back to this moment a lot because even in my adult life, there's times where I'm, when I get to feeling insecure, but I go back to this moment, my aha moment where I can just be who I am. My self-confidence was flowing. I didn't have to put any effort into it. And it would just radiate, and I can be myself and just feel like a light and know that I am being what God wants me to be. And it was when I was being teased in like elementary, middle school. I would also, my dad and my brother, they loved basketball. And so they would always play basketball out in our little driveway. And every now and then I would go out there and they would kind of coach me and teach me what to do and teach me about basketball and stuff. And then I guess like sooner or later, all the kids wanted to come to our driveway to play basketball. All the boys, all my brother's friends, all the kids in the neighborhood. And so they started playing games in our driveway. I remember watching it and I was like, I could do that. I can play basketball like that. I could play a game like that. And then, one day they needed an extra player, and I was like, cool, I'll play. And they let me play. And then I actually did really good up against him. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I could do this. And after that, self-confidence was an issue carrying on into high school and carrying on into, my young adulthood and carrying, and even till now, I always go back to that point where I'm like, hell yeah, I can so do this. It's effortless for me. I could just be myself. So that was my point. And ever since then, it was just been, there've been other turning points in my life. And because a lot of the guys that I was playing with, there were a lot of guys there that were like, you can't play. You can't do anything. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do whatever. And, when a lot of people are telling you, hey, you can't do this. You can't do that. And you just want to be like, fuck that. Yes, I can do it. And so ever since then, it's been like I could just be myself and I can let God radiate through me and I can do it. And I can be that person that can say, hell yes, I can when you tell me I can't.
I love that. And especially guys, they always like to pick on the girls, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do it because you're a girl. That's what they're really trying to say, right? And then when you school them on the court, it's like, whoa, wait.
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny because throughout that, and then I think I ran track as well, and I'm the shortest person in school. And I saw somebody running the hurdles, and I was like, hey, I want to try that. I want to do that. And someone was like, no, you can't. You're too short. You're too this. You're too that. And I'm like, F that. And then I did it. And I was like the shortest person on the track team, but I ran the hurdles. Like every single time like some obstacle came in my way, I was like, yes, I can do it. And that self-confidence just like let me prove people wrong, and it let me just be myself. And even just recently, when my husband recently deployed, everyone was like, oh, we're going to put your kids in school. You have 3 boys. Your husband's going to be gone. You won't be able to you won't last 3 months. You won't do, and I felt like all of this like negativity, and I was like, yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. And a year later, here I am, like I successfully homeschooled my kids. I built a business online, and I survived and thrived while my husband was deployed. So it was just like, so it's so cool to have those moments where you're just like, yes, I can, and have that inner strength and have that self-confidence that you can do, you can do anything is possible for you.
I like how every time someone smashes anything that they tell you no, you're like, hell yeah, I am, just,
yes,
just watch and you do it every single time. And for some people that can really break them, right? They're just like, well, maybe I can't do it, or maybe I'm not good enough. And I've been through that too, when people say I couldn't do it, there are times it's like, just watch me. And then there are other times they're like, maybe they're right. And if you're listening to this, if someone says you can't, don't let it break you. Let it motivate you to go out there and do, what Joan did, right? She just showed them, right? It's all action. Don't worry about the talking. Just do the action and they'll shut up. So Joan, what's your life like now? I mean, you're at home, you get to work at home, you have a business online, you get to be with your kids. I mean, what's your life like right now?
Right now, I believe, I can truly say that this past year has just been such a good opportunity for me to growing spiritually, mentally. And, I kind of feel like I'm in that zone where I'm just very at peace with myself and at peace with who I am and peace spiritually. And I feel I'm extremely happy right now. I'm very just like letting God work through me and letting myself just flow, letting creativity flow within me. Again, finding that divinity within me so I can share it to other people.
I'm glad you're doing everything you can to be happy. And so, Joan, to the woman who's listening to this episode, listening to your story, what would be the one tip you would give to her in her own journey to self-confidence?
To the women out there who are listening to me right now, who are looking to grow in self-confidence, my advice to you is my advice would be to learn how to be at peace with yourself, be at peace with yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically. And that might take time for you, and it's okay. Once you accept yourself, inward, and let that manifest and keep building and building and building, and just let your self-confidence grow and allow it to grow in you. I believe that if you allow self-confidence, then you will have it. And to just let it grow within you effortlessly. And then once it keeps growing, it will, in time, it will definitely come into your outward appearance. Your face will start glowing. Other people will notice you without you saying anything. Other people will notice a huge difference in you. And, just know that you are a light, and know that you have divine in you, and that you have so much power that is waiting for you. And you can do anything that you put your mind to, anything that you put your spirit into. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something.
Thanks, Joan. And I love that. There was this one saying that I think another person that I interviewed showed me this, and they said, don't let your light be dimmed by somebody else's opinions or somebody else's approval. Yeah. So I really love that. If the listeners wanted to connect with you, do you have a website or a blog site that we can check out?
Sure. My blog site is www.thejedimom.com, and so it's TheJedimom.com.
And to the listeners out there, if you want to check out thejedimom.com, you can head over to the Tao of Self-Confidence and search for Joan's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank you again, Joan, for taking the time to share your journey with the listeners. I'm sure they loved, everything you shared, and how, you were always proving everyone that you can do whatever you put your mind to it.
Thank you. I am so grateful that you had me on here, Sheena. This is awesome to be on here and, sharing this time with you.
Oh, I'm more honored you took the time to do this. Really, just to help one woman out there just realize their true power. That makes my day. So, listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence, and we will catch you later. So, bye for now. Thank you for listening to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Check out our resources to help you jumpstart your inner journey to self-confidence by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com.